Sorry, my brain is effed right now. My sleep was really not great last night. Hey Floatplane, it's been almost a year since I joined Labs, and we're gonna talk about what's happened. Clearly, we've reorganized a bit, so we might as well start talking off. There's a line here that says we also spend a bunch of time doing random other things.
What are those random things?
Everything. I mean, all the random tests. You know, it just takes a while. That's my main highlight for this. Is like sometimes people are sick for a week, you know, and then things get delayed.
No, that's
or
fair. And
we have a company event, or we're moving everything in the lab, so that takes up a few days or something. So.
I mean, even in specifically the testing realm, I think it's fair, because sometimes there's a bunch of tests that we do that don't end up in videos or on the website. I would say this probably most often happens with short circuit, because we'll do a bunch of tests, but they're not particularly interesting, so they don't end up in the video. Once we have a website level vertical, then those tests can go up there anyways. But while it's just a video, if it doesn't make sense narratively for the video because there wasn't a story out of the testing that we did, it's not going to go anywhere. So what I mean by website level vertical is, as we kind of mentioned, it's not that hard to just slap a product on a bench and run a test on it. So we can do that without a ton of planning for a lot of different potential things. I can't get into why, but recently we were testing thermal paste. We don't have a developed test suite for thermal paste, but we can still do some tests on thermal paste. The issue starts to be is how you scale that and how you build standards for that, as we were discussing earlier. So you kind of scale from ad hoc, which is just like, hey, test a thing. Can you figure out how to test a thing? Yeah, probably, sure. Up to, do we have some standards of some amount of tests, some amount of idea where we can communicate things with graphs and whatnot, and then that can be our short circuit level. Then there's our LTT level, where it's a little bit more confident, a little bit more scalable. And then there's the website level, where you can really start pumping these things out, and there's established standards, and we very likely published a Labs blog post talking about how we're going to do that testing, and you can go through a variety of different reviews and compare them, and actually understand a range of products on the web all at once. And getting a vertical from ad hoc all the way to web level can take a lot of work.
Sorry, do you mind repeating those last 3 sentences? Sorry, John's coughing, so it caught on mic. Sorry.
Get out of here,
Stop dying, John.
This work be too much.
The minds.
Cut.
We actually just had one walk by and it made me think of it, but the team has also changed significantly. So not only are we hiring new people, but we have hired new people already. A pretty significant portion of the team is under probation or would need. Probably seen, if you've looked on the lab website, some of the articles that have been written recently are written by, is it Fuzzy Door? That's similar to how in the credits of an LTT video you might see code names every once in a while. That's a code name within the lab for somebody who's on probation. I think they're all generally going pretty well, which is great, but like the team looks quite different already, and we're continuing to hire, so we'll look different in the future, and things are going well. But over the last quarter, we've largely been like training and moving the lab around and adapting to what the new team is going to be like.
Speaking of the website, you guys basically did like a relaunch, like a whole UX update about it. Do you want to talk about what prompted that and how that's been going so far? Because I personally used it a little bit just to try it out, and I really like it compared to the old one.
Hey, he's one of our 10 users.
Rough. The website also recently went through a pretty major redesign, in my opinion, and apparently Sammy's. It's much more usable now, which is cool. The comparison tool has had a lot of effort put into it, and the front page has had a lot of effort put into it. Trying to help people get to where they want to go faster. So we've surfaced like the categories in easier to find ways and in multiple locations, and we've made the front page much more dense. There's a lot more information in a smaller area. We've also been pushing pretty heavily, this isn't like web design, but we've been pushing pretty heavily to publish a lot of articles about what we're doing, what's going on. Some of my favorite ones are from Lucas actually, talking about power supply testing and like, hey, we might change how we communicate a thing. This is why, this is what we're planning on doing, and can we get your feedback on it? We're trying to build in public and talk about what we're doing and get feedback early and often so that people kind of know like what we're doing and why, kind of learn with us and give input as we go so that people can kind of see it before it comes out. I don't want to have someone who has been tuned in see a series of tests and be like, how did they come to this conclusion? Why are they doing these things this way? I don't understand. You can see that we've been doing quite a bit of work here on the like power supply testing and the audio testing realm. So if you're interested in those things, check out the website. There's also been a ton of work done to the comparison tool, including bring your own price, which is live now. So if you go to the comparison tool and you have two things in there that have comparative data, you can edit the prices if you find something on the used market, or if your local store is not at MSRP, like almost all graphics cards, you can put in your own price to see price performance graphs. Yeah, we have some disclaimers there on like how to understand that data, because just looking at price performance of the raw price of 2 GPUs is like not super representative of the impact on your system and blah, 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 but we talk about it on the site, so just check that out. We are also rolling out some pricing data from different partners, including the first one will probably be Newegg. Along with bring your own price, there's going to be another feature that makes it so that you can just input the price from that store. So there will be like a suggested price from Newegg or whatever. You can click that and it'll just fill it in for you. So you don't have to go hunt for the prices. Also, graphing tool. The web team has been working on the graphing tool so that we can spend less time in Illustrator manually painting every pixel. Nik specifically can spend less time in Illustrator. I like to imagine that you were like pixel painting every single graph.
No, but maybe. Felt like it.
Yeah, it was rough, and now it is less rough. It doesn't mean we never do that, just usually not.
Actually, it was on the list here, but I actually want to quickly touch on it. PSU circuit, how's that been going?
Thriving. Best thing we've done yet. I think it's
Least
going well.
worst thing we've done yet.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's going well. Obviously, it's very formulaic, but you know, I enjoyed them. There's some interesting results with some of them, and obviously, you know, it's a bit of a video version of the website, so I prefer people go to the website because there's much more information there, I think, and better explored because it doesn't follow as much of a script. But I think the video can be helpful, you know, show people some graphs and make it approachable.
We recently realized, by we I mean Linus and myself, that it's not, the editing is not automated.
Yeah, yeah. He's been saying that a couple times, but
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. But if that's the case and the AI voice is actually like fairly tedious to get working, we might change how they're made in a way that honestly is likely going to just improve them anyways. Because like if it's going to take us longer to AI generated voice than it would be for someone to just read it, then like what are we doing?
We're being the future. And how come there's no power supplies under 750 watts?
we started at 750 and went up, but we got some on the shelf right now that are less, so those are coming.
I'm just trying to ask what I've seen in the community.
Product verticals, you want to take it from there?
Sure, I just had a couple points here that, you know, there's some interesting stuff, but like Luke was saying, there's a bit of a pyramid to it of like steps to go on. So like short circuit first and then LTT videos. It takes a lot to get to the website state where you need to have everything fixed in place and know how you're going to visualize and make sure that it makes sense to people. But I'm doing a lot of stuff with USBC power delivery. I find that pretty interesting. A lot of interesting things there. And we're obviously getting a bit more into audio again, so that I think that is interesting as well. Yeah, some good results there.
I was just checking if there's anything else you need to go over, but yeah, that's fine.
What about the...
Some random AI made these notes, so I don't...
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. The AI categorized them. These are your notes.
Why don't you talk about the Quark, or like you did like your charging graph, or like US? You said
Yeah,
we're
talk about
doing
the
cool.
Quark.
We're doing cool things about USB-C. What are you doing that's cool about USB-C? Educate us. Me and Luke are ready to learn. John's on the edge of his seat.
I don't know, USB-C is kind of interesting, how it can deliver so much power with like, you know, the connector that usually isn't. But before we use this Quartz PAM, power analysis module, which measures at the wall plug point. Basically it simulates the wall plug, and you can measure the wattage through the charger and the phone. But now we have this new Infineon CY4500, which allows you to go on the USB-C line and read all the messages, and you can see all the negotiations and display those and how much power it's trying to draw from the power brick, and graph that along with the voltages negotiating and the current. So,
Can you talk about your graphs and how you've done like both percentage and time?
we're able to measure the wattage over time that's delivered to the phones, and by integrating that over the full period, we can measure the energy, the total energy delivered to the phone, and split that up to simulate, 50% of the energy was delivered before this point or after this point at 25%, 50%, 75%, and simulate what might be like the charge percent in 20 minutes without having to go and manually check the phone each time for, is it at 50% now? And I think those are pretty interesting. It's still just an approximation because your phone will, obviously report different values, but I think they're pretty good. And it tells a lot better story than just the total charge time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll insert a graph. I have some, maybe, do we have the ability for that?
Look at this graph.
Yeah, doing this side.
You can point that camera. Yep. Show the graph from that camera. No. Show the graph from that camera.
I love that you're both just like, I got it. Mission accomplished.